I'd like to call to order our Hamilton County Commission meeting of November the 17th, our legislative meeting. If we could please introduce ourselves.
Bridget Forty, Communications Manager. Tracy Reschel, Assistant Clerk.
Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Commissioner Alicia Reese, Vice President of the Board.
Good afternoon. I'm County Commissioner Denise Driehaus.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Thank you so much. Stephanie Summerall Dumas, President of the Board. We will start out as we always do with silent prayer. And then if you can stand for Pledge of Allegiance, I just ask our silent prayer. You can pray for whatever you like. It's silent, but I'm thinking about all the violence that's going on in our streets right here in Hamilton County, but also countrywide. But if we can just pray for the families that are experiencing violence here in Hamilton County, we would appreciate it. Amen. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous session.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes,
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
thank you very much. And now we have some great awards that we want to give out. These, a lot of our staff are in here that have, we call them most valuable players, our public employee awards. And so we have several. We took pictures earlier and we're going to move forward on our presentations for the awards. And so, Jeff, would you like to start?
I believe I am first. So the first 2022 MVP award that we have to recognize today is the Crime Lab Construction Project Team. So just some background, especially for folks who may be watching at home. The Coroner's Office and Crime Lab is an 83,000 square foot facility that is located in Blue Ash, which replaced an overcrowded 40-year-old facility. This state-of-the-art facility, I like to say the most state-of-the-art in the country. I don't know if I can back that up entirely, but I'm going to keep saying it. Has been carefully integrated into its context, which includes tree-lined streets, pedestrian pathways, and public green spaces. As a result, the new Hamilton County Coroner's Office and Crime Lab offers a much gentler experience for both staff and visitors. The need for the facility was highlighted in a 2012 report that outlined the former building's serious operational and life safety issues. This team worked hard to see the completion of the facility was under budget and within the planned scheduled move-in dates. This was a total team effort between the facility department and the coroner's office. So with that, I'm going to recognize the 2022 Crime Lab Construction Project Team of Andrea Hatton, Ralph Linney, John Michael, Coroner Lakshmi Samarko, and Mike Trimpey. So are we just,
We do have a proclamation.
we do have-
for Crime Lab.
we do have a proclamation and we have an award also. So are we?
If a representative could come up and get the award, and if someone would like to speak, that would
It
be
may be the
great.
same person, but. Yeah, if he's at the podium, would be great.
Well, thank you so much. This is a beautiful award and will look perfect in our really state-of-the-art, very contemporary glass building that we have. So this will be perfect. Thank you very much. I want to thank all the people of Hamilton County for their support, because we would not be here right now talking about our award-winning Crime Lab without the support of the people of Hamilton County and the commission, the commissioners. There have been several and Todd Portune, who had been commissioner when the project started, and we miss him, but we really appreciate the support. And I think I might have mentioned it already, but the building actually won the 2021 American Institute of Architects Award for Justice Building. So very proud of it. And I want to thank everybody here on this team. Ralph and John and Mike and Andrea were there every single day, part of all the meetings, part of all the design, and everybody in the building, everybody that was employed at the time and was about to be employed, got a stake in how it was built and how it was designed. So I think it turned out great, but it was because it was a huge team effort. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you so
And the
much.
award.
The next MVP award goes to the battery powered lawnmower program. But before we do that, I would like to read, we all have proclamations to give to each group, but I'd like to just read this one because it talks about what this program is about. Whereas the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners is dedicated to recognizing employees who make exceptional contributions to the Hamilton County workplace. And whereas the board has established the annual Hamilton County MVP Most Valuable Public Servant Award program to recognize these employee achievements. And whereas employees of Hamilton County can nominate their peers for the MVP award program. And whereas the nominees are evaluated on the following criteria: makes a significant contribution in their field of expertise, demonstrates organizational commitment, or implements innovative and useful contributions that significantly impact the department or county operations and or employee engagement, and achieves measurable positive impacts on a department or county operation, or creatively address their work through periods of change. Primarily, we're talking about the COVID pandemic. And whereas County Administrator Jeff Aludo and the MVP Selection Committee have recommended to the Board of Commissioners that the battery-powered lawnmower program team receive a 2022 Hamilton County MVP Most Valuable Public Servant Award, and it is signed by all the commissioners. So. I think I need to, let me just read this one part that does a little bit, not only about the proclamation, but a team from Southwest Ohio Air Quality Agency planned and coordinated Mow Greener, our Ohio EPA program that incentivized residents to replace their gas-powered lawnmower with a battery-powered lawnmower. This program sold out with over 125 residents reducing air pollution in the backyard with a cleaner lawnmower. The program was so successful that it was expanded in 2023, and Hamilton County employees are eligible. So watch for news on the Mow Greener next March. Okay, very good. And I have an award for you.
I've got a.
So would you like to say a few words?
So I'm the director of Hamilton County Department of Environmental Services. So as much as I would like to be the one to take claim of this award, the team is the one that did it. And Carrie's the only representative here today. So I did want to make sure that Joy Landry, Alberta Mellon, and Sierra Wagner get recognition. And there were several other people who helped out with it. So much so I appreciate you mentioning that next year we are very, very proud that Ohio EPA recognized the value not only to the citizens, but to reducing or improving air quality here in Southwest Ohio. So we're very appreciative of the acknowledgement, and we look forward to next year.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. So next we have Vice President Reese. Customer service. Yeah. Mhm.
I think we swapped these around. So,
Did you swap it?
yeah, so, we did a trade.
Okay,
So I think,
okay, there you go.
thank you. So it's now my pleasure to introduce the 2022 MVP Award for the Customer Service Improvements in the Permit Process Team. So during the last few years, Planning and Development's Customer Service Support Team has transformed and flourished through their hard work, dedication, and customer service focus. After losing a longtime supervisor and staff member during the COVID-19 shutdown in 2020, the remaining staff members pulled together and worked to find ways to continue to serve Planning and Development's customers without shutting down the office, curtailing services, or delaying response times, which we all know is so important in this office that really is the front door to economic development in the county. Their commitment to customer service and the addition of like-minded customer service-driven team members has helped create a truly customer-friendly environment that is a standard for others to follow. So Commissioners, it is my pleasure to announce this year's Project Team 2022 MVP Award to the Customer Service Improvements Team of Michelle Gibson, Chris Osborne, Ryan Shoemaker, Chelsea West, and Becky Wittersdottir. Congratulations. So I'm not sure who is accepting on Michelle. You accept? Michelle? Thank you, Michelle.
Sure. You guys want to have something to say? You're right over here by the podium. You're welcome. Good. No.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that's attended. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone up here for the award. I came halfway through this. There were a lot of people involved in making this happen. So I just want to thank everybody. Great team, great people. We have inspectors that do things. We have, it takes a whole big party to make this happen. So we thank you for the award. Have a great day. And who's next?
So we have CARES Act funding team.
All right, so I get to do the CARES Act funding team. Where are they? They're in the back and all over. So I just want to set the stage for this one. So back when the pandemic started, we received money from the federal government that was really transformative as far as the work that we could do as a county to respond to the needs in the community. People were really suffering. We were not sure what was in front of us. And it was a really trying time. And these folks came into the building. Not everyone was in at that time. A lot of people were working from home, but we needed a team on the ground here to push this money out to make sure we got it out as quickly as we could in the way that was most impactful to the community. And so it was a very stressful time. I can't emphasize that enough. And yet this team came in, they worked together. We did a very good job of responding to community needs. And so I'm just delighted to be able to provide this award on behalf of the County Commission to these individuals. So the CARES Act funding team. The federal government provided Hamilton County $142 million in coronavirus relief funds in May of 2020. County administration immediately asked several employees to help develop, manage, monitor, and deploy these funds on top of their normal job duties and during a time of great uncertainty. This cross-departmental team, including employees that had never worked together or even knew one another. The volume and detailed work involved was unfathomable, especially when you couple that with a constantly changing guidance on the, we all know that. That's the federal guidance, by the way. The constantly changing federal guidance on the use of the funds from the federal government. The linchpin of the team was Cindy Fazio, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney with the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office. Cindy passed away in April of this year. None of the programs would have been successful without Cindy's key legal mind and her fierce protection of the team, its work, and the county. We miss her every day. I'm going to read off the names of the team. Michelle Augustine, Michelle Balls, John Brugan, Ali Kodadad, Jen Ketter, Rob Wagner, Bert Watts, and Lisa Webb. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for the recognition. On behalf of the team, this is a group, Commissioner Dreehouse, as you mentioned, that went above and beyond, were fearless in their pursuit of excellence and in getting this money out as quickly as possible to those in need. And I'm forever grateful for this team and their countless hours, weekends, nights that they worked on this project. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to say, we're not supposed to comment, we got enough to do, but the strategic distribution of those funds, if you guys had not done what you did so efficiently, this county would look totally different. You knew your task and you got out there, you were here on weekends, and everybody is important, I'm sorry, but we needed to help those with the least of them. And so you guys knew that, and just did a great job. So now I have to let them talk. You already know. You already did. Okay, okay. Thank you all
Thank
so
you.
much. Okay, we have 513 to leave.
Yes, 513 relief. And let me say, as 513 relief is coming up, I do echo that of this, our employees. And particularly, because they had to get the paperwork and get the money out the door. And let me say that we were at the White House, all three of us, and there were other counties that were there and they couldn't get the money out the door. And they are looking to us and how did our county do it? And just to think that in their areas, there are people who missed out, maybe suffering because they couldn't get it. And it really put us in a position where they said Hamilton County's a leader. So I just wanted to highlight that. Now back to the MVP awards. I feel like we're at the Oscars. This is better than Oscars because all they do is a motion picture or something like that. We're actually saving lives. Our next award goes to 513 Relief Program. During unprecedented times, Hamilton County Board of Commissioners recognized the increased need to deliver social services, including no-cost COVID-19 vaccinations to Hamilton County neighborhoods, taking the resources directly to the people. With the partnership between the Department of Economic Inclusion and Equity and Jobs and Family Services and all of our other departments, Hamilton County has been able to provide economic assistance to over 13,000 families. Assistance included rent, mortgage, utility, cash, food, medical, child support, child care assistance, and more. All provided through the hard work and dedication of the Hamilton County Jobs and Family Services Community Resource Team and supporting staff who joined in the community and worked diligently behind the scenes. We were getting this help to people, whether they could get it on their smartphone, whether they could call 211. We even developed a bus that took it directly to the neighborhoods. At this time, it gives us great pleasure. And let me say, the bus is coming back. It's almost here. I said it's en route, so the bus will be back. But these folks went out, many of them, and risked their lives in a time when sometimes we didn't even know what COVID was. We didn't have a good name for it. I think it was coronavirus, then COVID. And they said, no, we must roll up our sleeves and help deliver to the people. So I have a lot of names because it took a lot of folks to get this done. Hamilton County Jobs and Family Services Community Service 513 Relief Staff under the leadership of Najee Leary. If I say your name wrong, just correct me.
Okay.
What is it? Najee Leary. I want to get it right. Christine Wallace, Latoya Hall, Jarrell Lamb, okay, Terrence Hillman, Angela Weston, Monica Blassingame, Maurice Chapman, and Aisha Howard. I got some more names, but give this group a big round of applause. Hamilton County Jobs and Family Services 513 Relief ERAP Processing Staff under the leadership of Lene. Did I say it right? Lynn, okay, it made it easier then. Lynn Really, okay. Lynn Really. Okay, Bria Drummonds, Nicole Peace, Trina Jones, Jamie Mansu, Jessica Wilcher, Maggie Murray, Jackie. All right, Jackie Freeman and Amber Hill. Give them a big round of applause. Hamilton County Jobs and Family Services volunteers for 513 relief efforts. Brandy Porter, Astrid Klein, Linda Ellington, Terry Jones Morris, Joe Brotherton, Christopher Duckworth, Diane Chappell, Laura Clifton, Tiana Moreno, Jasmine Brown, Barbara Jones, Devin Johnson, Daniel Conrad, Sonia Bass, Lavelle Smith, Taylor Zimmer, Malia Peace, Mercedes William, Angela Bolender, okay, Bolander, okay, Angela Bolander, Melissa Graves, Rita Shipman, Sarah Gray, Denisha Lee, Tamala Pittman Hurd, Misha Long, Melissa Burt, Neil Kelly, Kathleen Buzzmeyer, okay, I got it. Rosalind Kellis, Nitra Lockett, John Rogers, Shannon Bland, Michael Hiles. Is that right? Okay. Marie Hope Poland. And I think, Maria Hope Pollard. Let's give them a huge round of applause. You see, it was a huge team under, we'd like to also acknowledge the Director of Jobs and Family Services, Michael Patton. Who do I give this MVP award? We're like the Oscars. We only got one award. Congratulations and thank you.
Just want to say thank you, commissioners, for the acknowledgement. As you can see, it takes a lot of people to help 13,000 residents of Hamilton County in a critical time. So I just want to say congratulations to the team. They did all the work. They were on site. They were in the community. They were delivering services to people face to face that were in critical need of support for housing and utility assistance. And so I just want to say thank you, congratulations. You did an excellent job and we will continue to do excellent work as we go forward. So thank you very much for the acknowledgement.
And that's our last MVP awards, but everyone in here is the MVP. We are so thankful for all the work that is done by our Hamilton County employees. I always say, they get tired of me saying it, but we have the best staff in Hamilton County. I've worked with many staff all over, and you guys are just great. And so that's why we did what we did. So would you like to make any additional comments, or we made them all?
Well, I just wanted to say again that we can set policy, we can put the money in the budget, but it's up to our employees to get the help directly to the people. And I know a lot of times you may not get to hear, and we don't get to hear all the time, but I do want to share just a week and a half ago, I was at the SORTA awards event, and a lady came up to me and she said, "Hey, I just want to tell you something." I said, "Hold on, I was trying to write my speech." And she said, "No, I just wanted to say that I've never had to get help before. I've always paid my bills on time, but I had gotten furloughed and I had nowhere to turn. But let me thank Hamilton County and your employees. They walked me through the process and I saved my house." So I know there's many more stories like that because of the work you do, and you may not get to hear it every day, but we wanted to just say thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to say for everybody here, sometimes I think we forget to say thank you. Especially with some of the coronavirus related awards that we just did, I think sometimes we take for granted that people are going to go above and beyond. The community needed our help. They needed you guys on the ground. They needed what happened by way of the distribution of the dollars. As Commissioner Dumas said, we're setting policy, but you guys deliver the goods in the community. And I think we have an expectation of one another that we're going to go above and beyond. We're going to come in on weekends. We're going to do the hard work. But then we forget to recognize that and say thank you. And some of you are out in the community on the ground. Others of you were here during what was a very dangerous time during COVID. And so I am delighted we're taking this opportunity to sit for a minute, say thank you for those of you that did the work from a grateful Hamilton County. Because as Commissioner Reese said, I also hear from the community how grateful they are that we were able to get these dollars out as quickly as we were. But it's really to your credit that we got that done. So thanks again.
Absolutely. Now lock the doors so they can't get out. Thank you all. Appreciate it. So we're going to move forward. We do have a public hearing that was supposed to start at 1:15, but I'm going to just see if we have any public comments. I have one person on Zoom. That's the only card I got. I would like to have that person be able to talk, and then we'll move to the public hearing. Brad Copel. Are you there, Brad?
I am, but I didn't submit a card.
Hi, Brad.
Hello, I didn't submit a card to speak though.
Okay. We're ready for you. You get 2 minutes. You didn't submit one or? Oh, you're just watching. Okay. You guys
Yes.
didn't tell me. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna move forward with the public hearing. Eric, you wanted to open up our engineer?
Sure, thank you. Good afternoon. If Christie could get our presentation up, I'm gonna pull a Joe Burrow today and kind of call an audible. What I'd like to do is just introduce the project real quick and then let anybody that's here to comment come up, and then we'll proceed with the presentation. That way, hopefully we can answer any questions that are presented as we do that. Could you go to slide 3, please? This is the establishment hearing for the Fields Erdel Road improvements from Snyder to Wilkins Boulevard. And I just wanted to give you a quick overview of where this project is. This is I-71 down here in the lower right, the intersection of Fields Erdel and I-71. What's in purple there, that is the project we're discussing. Warren County is on the north side of the purple. Hamilton County is on the south side. The county line is basically the center line of the existing road right now. So half of this project is with Warren County project. We've been working hand in hand with the Warren County engineer and the Warren County TID on this project. So anything to the north side in Warren County is Warren County's project. So what we're here today to talk about is the south side, which is in Hamilton County. So this is part of a concerted project through this whole Fields Erdel corridor that we're working on. If you go to the west of the end of our project, it extends over to Reed-Hartman Highway. The majority of the traffic comes from Reed-Hartman and heads east over to the I-71 corridor. We have several other projects that will be coming later on that portion. But as you can see, this is a pretty heavily developed area in the Fields Erdel I-71 corridor. A lot of commercial industrial in shopping districts up in this area. This is a existing 2-lane pavement, 24-foot wide, handling about 33,000 vehicles per day. Just so you have an idea of what that means, that 32,000 vehicles a day, that's comparable to like a Harrison Avenue that's currently 4 lanes, Colerain Avenue from like Ronald Reagan north to 275 that carries 5 lanes, a Winton Road that's 5 lanes. So currently we have a 2-lane road that's carrying about 33,000 vehicles per day. So that is a brief explanation of what the project is. And if it's all right, I'd like to have anybody that's here that would like to make comments to do so. And then as we go through, hopefully we can answer those questions as we get them.
Sounds good. And the partnership, Eric, what portion are we paying? What is Hamilton County paying?
It's approximately 50%. We did get a $5 million grant from OKI, so we have federal funds involved in this. The remainder of the project's being split 50-50 between Warren County and us. And we will also pursue other funding options for our portion. We're just calling it Hamilton County portion right now, but as we get closer to construction, we will be applying for OPWC funds, infrastructure dollars, anything we can get to lower the county portion.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Is anyone here to comment on this for the public hearing? Yes.
I do have a question.
You could come up to the podium, please. Thank you.
I do have a question. I think the engineer just mentioned that most of the traffic actually is from the Reed-Hartman Highway and go through the Fields Erdel, right? And well, I live right on the Paul Meadows neighborhood. Yes, and sure, my lot get a lot of impact on that. But I live over there for many years. Okay, I don't know, it's 30 years. And I did notice that most of the traffic actually is come out from highway and coming over here. And which means, I don't know, you have the data or survey, which means people don't want to take the highway coming over here, but just coming out from the Rehoboam and have the shortcut cut through our neighborhood. So the problem of the traffic actually is because of the highway traffic. And I myself sometimes, well, I retired 2 years ago, but I work for more than 30 years, probably 40 years in this area. But the traffic is highway traffic is so bad. So, well, sometimes it's back up so bad. So I come out from that Rehoboam Highway and take the so-called local shortcut, to my house. So we're not solving the real problem is the highway traffic. But we try to accommodate the problem of the highway problem and build up this road. Well, that's my question. Is that the fair or good strategy? Because if we try to address this way, the situation will getting worse and worse. And I guarantee another 2 years is traffic so bad. I need 4 lanes, 6 lanes. And the cost and the impact on the residents will be horrible. And even for the expansion of that section, it's not really, it is going to have a great impact on the residents, the housing areas around that. And so I wonder, is there anything, addressed to that questions? And you can notice, well, the expansion area is only leading to the 71, which means all the expansion work, Hamilton County paid millions of dollars try to help Warren County to solve their problem or the highway problem. And by sacrifice our residents. And that's my question.
And that's a great question. Hopefully Eric, our engineer, can help to answer that question. Are there any other comments before Eric, Mr. Beck makes a comment? Because the concern is with all the traffic already coming through, will that increase any more traffic through the residential area? This is my bad eye, so I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Yeah, so come on up, yeah.
I totally agree with the gentleman. I live at the far side near Schneider Road. There's no traffic. The traffic backs up to my yard when there's a snowfall on 275 or an accident on 275. Everybody comes off Weedhart and then it comes this direction. If they want a 5-lane road, they can go 1 mile south and take Kemper. This is a gross waste of our tax dollars. That you look at all that all that development there, that's not where I live. I'm back here in Fall Meadows, that nice little neighborhood. I got a wooded lot that backs up to Fields Erdel. I'm on the hill. Now I'm gonna look down on, what do you say, Harrison Avenue, and have another Kemper Road in my backyard. And I'm like 100 feet. I don't know if you see the stakes that were out. I don't know, they said that you were gonna go out and see them. Well, I got a whole bunch of documents saying all these stakes so that you would be able to see. So I guess you haven't seen the property. There it is then. Okay. Basically, it's gonna go 40 feet towards my house. Because the other side, the Deerfield Township side of the county, they can't take much of their land because of how close they are to the road. So they're gonna take 40 feet into my woods, just destroying the buffer that I have already between Fields Erdel and myself. And like I said, the houses that are there, Brad Koppel that you was tuning, hits my neighbor. So I don't know what he was gonna do, but that's my next door neighbor. We're like about 4 or 5 houses from the corner. If you want to really think of the impact on at least one person, there's a beautiful little farmhouse at that corner. If you go out and look, when you go out and look, their front, nice little beautiful front porch, if they could get it rezoned, they could do a drive-through and hand stuff off this front porch. That's how much land they're taking. This person is going to sit there and have a curb right outside their porch. It's a 100-year-old farmhouse. They're taking the front of Palmettos, you know, they're taking all this stuff for turn lanes. It currently, it just doesn't have, I've lived on Snyder Road for 16 years and I've lived in Palmettos for 16 years. So I've seen the traffic change. Without, they put a light at Snyder Road, it was great. We had a blinking red light. The issue is at the other end where the Fields Erdel 71 interchange is. I had sent comments over to the engineers. This is what it looks like. You got a left lane going on Escort Drive. This is I-71. You've got an empty lane. You've got a through lane going under the bridge. You've got a right turn and straight air right here. The problem lies where people don't want to sit here behind all this other traffic. They come up here, they block the right turn lane on I-71. The resulting traffic goes down a few hundred feet. There's a,
Okay,
you can see there's a, that it'll back up to that shopping area. There's a convenience store where the other drive comes, Merkin Drive comes on. It backs up maybe to the apartment buildings. You know, traffic backs up when there's school buses.
well, I appreciate your input.
This is what I was suggesting.
So,
They take this
well,
lane,
before, go ahead, complete your statement.
you've got a left turn lane and then there's lane doing nothing. You take that under the bridge. You take the other lane straight, turn that other lane into a right turn lane.
And you submitted that to our, okay.
I
Let me
put it in emails and I got no reply.
thank you for your comments, which brings me to a few questions as you brought up some issues and the other gentleman. First of all, I know that when there's a decision to have an improvement, wherever it is, there's just a voluminous amount of assessments that are done to determine which is the best way to do that. So I'm sure that happened. But in addition, I'm wondering about the residents that are in that area, how we were able to inform them of what the improvements were going to be. And also my last question was the urgency of the improvements. Are we on a timeline as it relates to when we want to get this started? So,
I've got all of those in the presentation.
okay. Okay, I don't
All
think we
right.
have any more.
Is there anyone else that would like to comment?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. They didn't know, so. Yeah, normally we fill out a card, but you guys didn't know. So if you can fill out one, if you've already spoken, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I'm representing my father who lives on Fields Erdel.
Mhm.
And at this point, it's going to take probably 40% of his front yard. That means he's going to have a 4-lane highway right smack up to within 40 feet of his front door. Okay. And we're really not pleased with that because we have seen over the years, they've lived there for 30-some years, 35 years. And really the backup on that road is not that bad. It's only at certain times. Our objection is to the problem that we don't see a reason for a 4 to 5-lane highway in a very, very established residential area. Okay. And we think that maybe a little bit smaller project would solve the problem and not be so detrimental to the people who actually live there on Fields Erdel.
All right. Thank you so much for your comments. Are there any additional comments before we have the presentation? Okay, Mr. Beck.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Bridget, could you go back to the first slide, please? All right, thank you. I appreciate everybody's comments. Obviously, we regard them heavily when we do our projects. Again, this is the establishment of Fields Erdel from Snyder Lane to Wilkins. The establishment, if you will go to the next slide, please. The establishment hearing is a public hearing, which is the first step by the county in the acquisition of property that is needed for an improvement to be held. One of the questions was asked about how much public meeting and input we've received. This project has been going on since 2018. A open house was held on December 5th of 2018. That was a joint hearing or open house with Warren County. And I believe ODOT may have been at that meeting as well as with the intersection of I-71. We explained the project where early phases got input from the property owners and anybody that attended. We also had another hearing or open house on June 23rd of 2021, just last year. It was well attended. We had representatives from Warren County there, the Warren County TID, Deerfield Township, Sycamore Township, Sims Township, and ODOT to answer any questions and go over what the proposed alignment was, the width, and the work that was being done for the roadway. So we did collect all that data. We had a public relations firm that was managing the meeting, took all the comments, compiled them, and we used all of those moving forward in the design. Next. So as I stated before, the purple area is the area we're looking at on this overhead. The green area, as was mentioned, is the interstate ramp area, which is the Ohio Department of Transportation. There's been work done there already. There is, I believe, some more work planned there, but I'm not positive exactly what it is. The orange area is work that's being done by the Warren County engineer to connect some of the other streets and to pull traffic off and away from the major intersections. So those three projects will all be done in the same coordinated effort. They're being worked together so that they all work together. Next slide, Bridget. Thank you. Why are these improvements needed? Currently, the road suffers poor vertical alignment and sight distance issues. It's carrying more traffic than it was intended to. I know that all three commissioners have heard the word functionally obsolete when it comes to the Brent Spence Bridge. What this road is functionally obsolete. It's carrying more traffic than it was originally designed for. A 2-lane pavement is not designed to handle 32,000 vehicles a day. This just can't carry that much traffic. It doesn't have the capacity. So that is the purpose of it. We're going to adjust the alignment, will allow supporting better connectivity and travel times, make this road safer for those who travel it. We will also be adding connectivity by adding sidewalks to the north and south sides of Fields Erdel Road and down, I believe, on both sides of Snyder Road. The current project cost estimate is $15.5 million. As I stated before, we've got a $5.4 million grant from OKI. And the remainder of the project is split 50-50 between Hamilton County and Warren County. With the acquisition of the OKI funds, that did put this project into a federal project. So we had to follow federal requirements for open houses and public notification and for acquisition of right of way. So that's why we're following all the federal regulations. So from there, I think I'm going to turn it over to Todd Gadberry. Todd is my deputy engineer. He's the project manager for this project, and he has a lot more knowledge of the intimate details of it. So I'm going to let Todd speak.
Hi, I'm Todd Gadberry. We also have, we go to the next slide, please. On this project, we have actually 46 parcels that'll be affected. Of those 46, we have 30 temporary and 29 permanent parcels. And just to really go over what an easement is, there are temporary easements and there's permanent easements. Okay. And the temporary easements will be voided once construction is complete. The permanent easements will be there in perpetuity. What they do is it gives a legal right to use the property and legal title to the land itself for the landowner. So that property is still under the landowner's name. It's still under their acreage. So.
That sentence again, please. Say that last sentence about.
For permanent?
Yeah.
A permanent easement is the property owner still owns the property, but it comes with restrictions. Meaning it is property that we may need to get access to do work in the future. But it is still the property owner's acreage.
Okay.
Where a temporary at the end of the project will be turned back over to the property owner.
So the homeowner would still be paying taxes on that.
On the permanent, correct.
Okay.
And this is this is the exhibit of the overall project. You can see Snyder goes south to north and Fields Erdel goes west to east. We can go ahead and zoom in on the one. Yeah, this. So like I said, this is the Snyder Fields Erdel intersection. You can zoom in. This is not great to see the right-of-way lines, but we do have all the plans upstairs if to go up afterwards, and we'd be happy to show them if they have any concerns. So you can see the road widens quite a bit to 5 lanes. We have dual turn lanes at the intersection, and currently it's a one right turn lane. Then this will be a signalized intersection. If you want to go east, yeah. So there's quite a bit of width improvements through here. Kensington Wood is a newer subdivision with a lot of traffic that comes through that property. There will be walls put on the project because we are raising profiles in some areas. And really what the 5 lane is, the center lane gives the ability to people to get out of traffic and turn into the properties without stopping traffic. With it being a 2 lane, if you stop, you're going to be backing up traffic. And I've heard a lot about school buses and transportation where they stop. It really backs up during peak times. And this is down at Wilkins Boulevard. And that's basically where the project ends.
Okay.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions out.
Absolutely.
You want to, Mr. Beck, would you want to?
I know there was some questions about the easements. A temporary easement is like, put it simply, is we're renting the land to build the project. So the contractor, if we're putting a slope in and the slope hits the existing ground, the contractors people are not legally allowed to step on the private property. That's why we get temporary easements that are outside of the construction limits. And those are to allow for the physical construction, to allow people to be there to work, the equipment to work. Once the project's complete, then those easements go away. Those are no longer exist. They terminated it at the end of the project. The permanent easements we're talking about, the underlying property remains with the property owner. The infrastructure is allowed to be there by permit on that property, and that's what we're paying for on the permanent easement. It could be drainage structures, it could be pavement, it could be sidewalk. It allows that infrastructure to be on their property. They can use the property, they just can't build any permanent structures on a permanent easement. They still have full use of it. Traffic wise, I understand the gentleman's issue that traffic does get off I-275, go up Reed Hartman and go down Fields Erdel to bypass traffic on the interstate. There is nothing that we can do to prohibit that. Public roads are for public transportation. So they need to be, whatever our roads need to be to handle the traffic that is there is what we need to create for them. I don't know how you could stop somebody from getting off the interstate and using a surface road to get around an interstate. I don't know how you could possibly do that, but I understand that it is a real issue.
But I think the question was, as you made your assessment, do you think that increased traffic would happen because of the improvement where he lives? Because you're expanding.
Will this create an opportunity for more traffic to find an easier route to 71? That is a possibility. Yes,
Okay,
that is a possibility.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well, let me open this.
water always finds the easiest place to flow. That's a good analogy. And that's, we're going to, people find the path of least resistance to get where they want to go.
Thank you. I'll open it up. Vice President Reese, did you have any questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Beck. Thank you for the presentation. I did have a couple of questions for clarity. Going back to the temporary and the permanent easement component. So does the owner of the land, do they get paid for that or?
Yes, they get paid for both easements.
Okay.
We have done appraisals on that. That's based on the market value of their land. We had to have ODOT certified appraisers do the appraisals. And they get a percentage of the appraised value for a temporary and a different percentage for a permanent.
Gotcha.
Yes, they get compensated for both. That is correct.
Does any of this affect the property value? Say they want to sell their house. Is it going up or is it going down?
That's an auditor question. The auditor determines the value for taxation. It may have effects. It may be positive and it may be negative.
Yeah. Just wanted to understand that part. Because
Yes.
if I own the home, like the lady said, she said about her father owning it for a long time and half the front door part of the will be taken. I just wanted to,
Right.
that is a consideration.
I would agree, and I appreciate them coming, and we do have up on the 7th floor in the conference room, we have all the plans laid out.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate them to come up, take a look at their specific example, because sometimes if they're looking at a temporary easement, it looks like it's coming really close to the house.
Yeah.
But that only may be during construction, and then at that point, it's not really as close as it would appear.
Yeah, I appreciate you having that upstairs. And to the gentleman that sent an email, I know you respond very quickly to emails, but now he's here and you can go upstairs and show him your sketches as well, instead of an email. Just wanted to also go back to the part where we said we're doing it because the road we have has 36,000 cars on it and we just can't handle it. I just want to make sure we're not creating that on a different road, because you said we might get more traffic. People still might get off on a different road. You have to excuse me, I'm not an engineer, but I do know Fields Erdel and it's tough.
It's
tough.
a major arterial. It carries a lot of traffic, and it is a major east-west route there on northern Hamilton County. And it will, I don't think the improvement of it will generate traffic in and of itself. But when we first started was it Kensington and Warren County, the development there, that was all vacant land when we first started. And now that's a complete residential subdivision with, I think, several hundred houses in it that are adding to the traffic flow.
Gotcha.
And there is another vacant area there that's could be developed at some point. So those may draw traffic, but the widening of the road itself, with the exception of people that may bypass from the interstate, shouldn't generate more traffic in and of itself.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure like we're taking the 36,000 and we're doing this.
Right.
And then we create 30,000 on a different road
Yeah,
and say we
we're,
gotta
we're
do it
taking
again.
the smaller, we are funneling into the bigger route.
Gotcha.
Fortunately, we're not funneling it down into a smaller roadway.
Gotcha. And then my last question is, once, when construction starts,
Yeah, I don't,
Was-
Todd.
would that be, how long would that be
That's
tying up
it.
that area?
Yeah, I mean, construction will be at least 6 months, 9 months.
Okay.
It's gonna be a substantial construction project and phase, so there will be inconveniences during construction. But
Gotcha.
all residents and businesses will have access throughout the project.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Dreehouse.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. So I want to back up, and you, Eric, you mentioned that the volume of traffic on the road creates a situation where the widening needs to happen. But I'm wondering how it came to your attention. Were you getting complaints from people that were caught in traffic on this road? Were some of the residents complaining, or how does something like
This
come to the
project,
attention of the engineer?
that's a great question. This project initially came from the Warren County Engineer's Office and complaints and problems they've been having in that whole corridor. The Field Zertle, I-71, Escort Drive, that area up in there. And a traffic study was done for the whole area, and it showed that this area was one that needed to be improved to handle that, to kind of remove that bottleneck in that area.
And so if we were to look at the beginning and the end of this project, I just heard you say that the roadway is going into wider roadways. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah,
So it's
have Bridget
help
pull
us
this up.
better
Yeah.
understand that.
Going with the aerial, that one right there. So once you get over on this end, this is six lanes over here, I believe. So all this traffic going this way, it's going to go from 2 lane to 4 lane and then to 6 lane. So it keeps expanding out as this traffic is funneling in, because traffic is heading this way to get onto 71 or up Mason Montgomery in that area. So as you're coming from west to east, you're adding more traffic, so it's adding more bigger capacity as you move east.
Get towards the highway.
Right.
Yeah. So when you conducted the open houses, beyond some of the more specific easement issues, what other kind of feedback were you getting at the open house?
We we got feedback on everything from sidewalks, which that's why we have sidewalks. There was a lot of people that wanted sidewalks and pedestrian connectivity. So that's why we've ended up doing that. We had questions about trees. We've had, we talked about size, most of the questions were, how is it going to impact my property? And that's what we tried to walk through. I don't know how many design changes we made that came out of that, but we looked at every comment that was submitted was looked at by the design team.
And so has the jurisdiction, and I'm trying to remember, and I don't remember which jurisdiction.
You have Deerfield Township to the north.
Sims?
This is Sims Township here, and then on the other side of Snyder is Sycamore Township.
So have the townships weighed in on this?
Yes, they've all been involved with the whole entire process. They've been involved in the public meetings. Actually, Sims and Sycamore are both participating in the cost for the sidewalks. So yeah, they've all been active partners and in this process all along.
Okay, and lastly, so you keep mentioning sidewalks, and I'm a big fan of sidewalks. Are there sidewalks now on this roadway?
No, there are not.
Okay. I think that's all I had, Madam President. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Yes.
Just a couple of quick questions. Engineer Beck, on you said the project terminates at Wilkins.
Yes, that's
Is that intersection will that be intersection be improved under this project? Or I know right now that can be a little bit of a.
Yes, yeah,
efficient-
the intersection is included in the
Okay,
project.
and I assume it goes without saying, but just to, for clarification, I know as you go east along Fields Erdel, you get to a point, I forget, but as you're get to those apartment complexes, I guess on the south side, that you have this drop off of the pavement.
right.
It can be pretty precarious. I assume that goes without saying that that's improved through this as well.
Are you talking east of I-71?
This would be west of I-71 as you are going east on Fields Erdel. And there are some drop offs in the pavement.
Yes.
Okay.
If there's drop offs in our project area, yes, those
Okay.
those will be
Got it.
handled.
It would be in
Yes.
the project area.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I just had a question. Is this one public hearing sufficient?
Yes, that is correct. And should you close the public hearing today, we will bring forth a resolution to you in a upcoming meeting.
Thank you so much. I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Why make a comment? Just so.
Yeah, you can go upstairs, so they'll be available to you upstairs.
It's probably easier, to.
Well, I'm sure they have the same diagram upstairs, okay? So I appreciate it. I had a motion to
Second.
close the public. hearing.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. We will move forward. We have our, let me see. We have comments and motions for the commissioners. Can I bypass you guys for a minute? And then we go to the regular agenda, stormwater. Hi.
Hi, Commissioners. Todd Long, Chief Deputy Engineer. I'm here representing the Stormwater District today. The first item is a resolution for a fourth renewal with the Hamilton County General Health District in the amount of $444,682 from our Stormwater Restricted Fund. This is for the work that is done each year in partnership with a number of different initiatives with the health district for the illicit discharge detection and elimination and home sewage treatment system mapping and other work that we do investigation for the NPDES National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Phase 2 permit. So this is an annual renewal contract. This will be the fourth and final contract until we decide to potentially renew it, or excuse me, create a new agreement in the following year. Are there any questions?
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I make a motion to approve item number 1.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is a resolution approving a third renewal agreement with the Hamilton County Conservation District to perform stormwater services for 2023. This contract amount is $466,835. This also comes from the restricted fund for this Hamilton County Stormwater District. This particular partner organization helps the Stormwater District in public education and outreach and public involvement services, as well as our erosion and sediment control measures throughout the county for certain construction activities. This is also part of the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Phase 2 permitting. This is the third renewal in the contract, so there'll be one potential further renewal moving forward should the board approve this item. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? No. Okay, make a motion to approve item 2.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you,
so
Commissioners.
much.
Appreciate it.
Okay. I would ask my colleagues if we could possibly go to our consent agenda items, item 8, because I see we have some distinguished guests that are here. And I don't know how long they can stay from Lincoln Heights, and wondering if they, can we go to item 8? Would that be okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and so item 8 is a resolution authorizing the county administrator to enter to a joint agreement between the Board of County Commissioners, Hamilton County, Ohio, and the Village of Lincoln Heights, Ohio, regarding a 2022 Community Impact Grant for $975,000. Now, if we so pass this, then we will be approving that Lincoln Heights can receive this Community Impact Grant. I just wanted to make just a short statement. I remember saying several months ago that I am going to stop saying Lincoln Heights is a diamond in the rough. And so they are a diamond. That's it. And people are finally understanding the richness of the history of Lincoln Heights and the bright future that they have. And my colleagues have realized that, yeah, we've given some grants and some financial assets to Lincoln Heights, but we are recognizing that there is so much more to do. And I thank my colleagues for that purpose of this impact grant, which is something brand new for our board. So I can have them, this is a former village manager is here, but the new village manager. Oh, you're an interim. Okay. What do I need to do to know? Would you like to come up and talk about the award that we're considering? Mr. John Key, former mayor of Lincoln Heights.
And current finance director, but
Okay.
interim
Okay.
village manager. I'd like to keep that
Okay.
keep that specific interim. Yes. This grant really will impact not only for the road improvements, but a specific portion of the Village of Lincoln Heights, a very blighted piece of property that is right next to a highly improved Memorial Field project. So with your approval, it will significantly impact that area for economic growth. And so we hope you guys will pass it, and we appreciate everything that you're doing, reaching up 15 miles north of downtown.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
And it's my understanding, I will have my colleagues make some comments that the application that came forth was just so thorough. It included and I know, Jeff, you're getting ready to talk in a minute, I just feel it, but that it was so thorough that our staff evaluated it, and it was like, I won't say a no-brainer because they go through everything, but it was just a great application. So Vice President Reese.
I just wanted to say that I am excited to support this grant. It's multifaceted, and it deals with aging infrastructure that is in the village of Lincoln Heights, which is a historical community that is not only historical in Hamilton County, but throughout Ohio and the country. And so when we had our press conference for the broadband almost a year ago, I think, starting off to help with broadband, we said more is on the way. And since that time, we've also been out there, all three of us, for opening of housing, affordable housing, that projects that you've had out there, and a number of other projects. I will just have to say to Councilwoman Linda Childs Jeter, I remember when I came here, she said, "We y'all gonna come out and help us get these streets. These streets need to be fixed." So I just wanted to say, after this vote, Councilwoman, the streets are gonna be fixed. So just excited about the partnership that we have, and the partnership's getting even stronger between the administration and your administration there at the village. And then also highlight that you all are doing this with limited staffing. You don't have the big staff. Here you are wearing 3 hats today. You're taking a little, stretching it, doing multiple things under your leadership of your mayor, and being able to come forward and still deliver something for the residents of Lincoln Heights and Hamilton County. And I just wanted to highlight that, Madam President, is that sometimes we see people come, they don't have these big staffs and they have to wear multiple hats, and you were able to do it and put together a very detailed grant that met all the thresholds, but allows us to be able to take action. So I'm excited and ready to vote in support. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dreehouse.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So I want to back up just for a second and remind folks that this grant came from, it's really an offshoot of the community revitalization grant that we put into place starting last year. It's 3 million going into communities to catalyze projects that mean so much to these communities by way of economic development. And so the administrator said, well, that's very helpful and jurisdictions will appreciate it and will create a lot of jobs and economic activity. But there are some communities that really need added investment over and beyond what that 3 million could do, because we have 49 jurisdictions that we worry about and we look to for these projects. And so the administrator established, I think it was like 8 communities that fall into this category of communities that were we to invest, the activity that's already happening and the energy that's already going on in these communities could explode with this added investment. And so Lincoln Heights is the first of the group to go. I'm thrilled that Lincoln Heights is going to receive this investment from the county. You mentioned roads, there are buildings involved here. There's such potential in Lincoln Heights, and there is such new energy in Lincoln Heights that I think it's exactly the right place at the right time for this kind of investment. So, as my colleagues have both said, and we've been out to Lincoln Heights a number of times for a number of different reasons and walkthroughs, but it's really exciting to see this money hitting the road here in Lincoln Heights and making a difference. So thank you for being in here to help us better understand the impact.
Thank you very much and keep coming.
So I think Jeff, County Administrator, did you want to?
Madam President, I think between all 3 of you, of the commissioners, you guys pretty much said everything. I would just say, since you gave me the mic for a second, and I think it echoes one of your comments, that the application that we got from Lincoln Heights on this was just absolutely fantastic. And it really reflected what we thought was the purpose of this grant. And that was not to just allocate $20,000 here and $10,000 here, but to allocate a much larger pool of funding to a community that had a plan that would help revitalize the core of the community, so it would serve as a catalytic investment to raise the community up. And everything around the Memorial Field area, the road improvements, the demolition and the remediation of the old high school there, all of that stuff is a part of a plan in Lincoln Heights that I just commend the village for putting together. And we're just excited to be a part of it. Happy to be able to do this today. So thank you, commissioners.
All right, thank you.
Madam President,
Yes.
as we keep saying about the package, I just forgot to acknowledge your predecessor, Joyce Powdrell, who was the village manager at the time, putting the package together. And she's now going on with the United States Senator Sherrod Brown, and we're working with her again, but I just wanted to highlight, because I know she was the manager at that time. So just wanted to give her a shout out too.
Can you see her back there with the pole in the water?
I don't see her. She's hiding. Wait a minute, she's over here hiding. I got 2 more. She's hiding from us.
Anyway,
All great stuff.
Great stuff. Okay.
Thank you.
So you want to wait till we vote? See if
Sure.
it passes?
Okay.
Okay. So at that point, with no additional comments, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 8.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Treehouse.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All righty. Okay. Way around there. Yeah. Yeah. So we can go back to comments and motions for the commissioners. I'll just have a few things to say. Friday, November the 11th, we were off for Veterans Day, but I spent my time over at the 2nd annual African American Senior Veterans Day at New Prospect. It was long, but it was good. It was worth, I think it was about 5 hours. And so to stay that long and hear Damon Lynch Jr., his parting words were just awesome. So it was worth all of it, and to see all the veterans. So, and then on Tuesday, November the 15th, the YWCA Family Justice Center, I had a Zoom call with them, and they told me I really learned a lot because we all often talk about women helping women and what they're doing, and they're doing great stuff. But the Y is doing really some diverse things that maybe Women Helping Women is not doing, and they're going to be coming forward to us as we look at our budget deliberations and maybe possibly asking for some additional funding, but it was a great Zoom call. And then I met with Daryl Haley on Tuesday from Metro and Sorta. And I just want to announce, without saying particularly what it's going to be, but there is a major transportation improvement for Forest Park like never before. I remember talking about it when I was the mayor out there and kind of begging for assessments and surveys to show that there was a need. And they did many surveys and many assessments to see if there was a need. And people in that whole surrounding area, not just Forest Park, Woodlawn area, all of that are going to be so excited about the transportation that is coming there. I know when I lived out there, I would see the seniors walking in the snow out in the street with their carts, trying to make it all the way up to the bus stop at the city building. And so now very soon, there's going to be some improvements December the 4th. But the major improvements are going to be October of 2023, and it's just unbelievable. So I just had to restrain myself when I heard about it. And you guys will be getting information on that also. So, and then I went to the State of the City address with Mayor Aftab Pureval that same night, and it was excellent. He has, of course, lots of goals along with the council for the city, and we'll be in partnership with the city as we often have been to try to make things more efficient as it relates to financially, and also the vision that we have as a county to continue to work with the city. And then I went yesterday to the CVG press conference. And so, oh, I forgot my flag. The British Airways are coming to the airport, Cincinnati. Why am I CVG? Yeah, CVG, but what is C? Huh? Yeah, that's what I want. I want the big name of it. Yeah, I knew CVG. But anyway, so if you want to go to London, I mean, starting, I think like June the 6th, you can go right away. They already have a flight with Delta going to Paris, but this one is going to be in partnership with American Airlines, and just an exciting time. Hamilton County is an exciting place to be. And so many innovative, creative things are happening in this county, and you want to be a part of it. Could I digress just for a minute? When I talked about Metro and Sorta and what they're going to do in Forest Park, they need drivers, and they have like a $2,000 incentive to be a driver. And if you don't have your CDL, they're going to take you and try to help you to get one. But a lot of the lack of transportation in some areas, even though we passed issue 7, is because they don't have drivers. So if you know anybody who would be interested, please let them know that they are in desperate need of drivers. Okay, and so this morning I went down to the BOC Development Corporation open house along with Commissioner Driehaus on Finley Street. It's a home that the Port Authority is working in collaboration with other partners to try to get more Black ownership in homes, not only just owning, living in it, but developing the contracts. And it was just a beautiful home, and they will be building and renovating even more. So Divert, there was a meeting, a Zoom meeting, and Divert is a organization under Women Helping Women that goes out, and we gave lots of money, the county did, to try to expand the areas that Divert can go into for domestic violence, so they can, those workers can go out before or synonymously with the police department to make sure that people are there to talk to those victims before we get more aggressive with what's going on. So that's all I have right now, and I will pass it over to Vice President Reese.
Thank you. Thank you very much. As you mentioned, I was also at the State of the City, and with Mayor Avtab Pureval, all three of us were, and looking forward to the partnerships in the future. So I was happy to participate in that. I also attended, as all three of us did, the African American Senior Veterans Day celebration at New Prospect Baptist Church. That's put together by Michelle Graves. This was her second year. I was there also last year, and I just want to thank her because a lot of these African American veterans have not necessarily been recognized or been included or know about a lot of the things that take place there. I was happy to present the proclamation along with my colleagues, acknowledging that day for them, and also acknowledging that in our budget, we have funding for veteran services. We put it all together, it's at about $1.1 million. And we want to continue and do a better job of reaching out with these various services. They were very happy to know that, and clapping and those kind of things. We were there with also the outreach director for the state of Ohio, Veteran Affairs, and he was talking about the need to be able to reach out more. We haven't been able to reach out enough, particularly to African American and women veterans. So they wanted to do a better job and hope that we can partner in some kind of way to help them do that, because there are a lot of services for veterans. I attended that, obviously, also with my staff were there, but also one of my volunteers who was a U.S. veteran, disabled veteran, Teresa Kent, who was there as well. I was great to see them honor Reverend Dr. Damon Lynch Jr., and it's always great to see him, and also honor Dr. Dillard and Mrs. Dillard for all that they have been doing in our community. So that was just a great event. And of course, very good food at New Prospect Baptist Church. My goodness, I'm thinking about it now. Great food always there. Also, that same day, I had to leave out because I had to attend the mayor's annual United Negro College Fund luncheon, and have been involved with that since I was on city council, and really liked it. I want to see what we can do here at the county to also participate in providing scholarship opportunities for more students from this area. They had the luncheon there. Mr. Stephen, I think it's Miller is his last name. I hope I got that right. Who puts this on. And they raised a great deal of dollars to help students. TriHealth was there, the CEO, and they have a good work program. We may want to reach out to them as we're doing our workforce. They have a work program for youth that are in high school, and they're able to go in and work directly in the healthcare field with those who are in the healthcare field, and to have the young people there and get up and speak about how they have either they came in with one idea and what they want to do with healthcare, but some changed. One of them said, I really like taking blood, and so she changed to that area, but it gets them into the workplace as well as help them after they get out of high school. So I think it's a really good program, and would like to see us maybe check out Mr. Aludo, if somehow maybe Holly can meet with them and find out what they're doing, how that might be able to be expanded here in Hamilton County. But it was a very, very good program, and those young people were there as well as the CEO of TriHealth. So that was a very, very good event, and was happy to participate. And I'm always happy to also represent my alma mater, HBCU Grambling State University. Quentin Monroe is Central State University, and Wilberforce was there. It was just so good with the camaraderie, but then the love of coming together to kind of give the youth kind of a peek into what it's like to go to an HBCU. And I also have to acknowledge that Taft High School drumline and band was there, and they were phenomenal. And I'd like to see those young people go on and be in a college band and have a scholarship moving forward. One of the things with our youth office, and I know Director Patton, I had mentioned this to him, I want to see a metrics to see how many youth have we been able to get into college. I want to see more of our young people being able to go to college if they choose to go. And there are so many scholarships in a lot of areas. You could get it in a band, you could sing and go to, I mean, they have so many things. It doesn't have to be, you could do basketball, you could do academics, you could do cheerleading. I mean, there's so many, swimming, volleyball. I mean, I believe there's a college out there that has some money and we want to get our hands on it. So I want to really look at our Office of Youth partnering with Youth Collaborative and others. But one of our goals should be in Hamilton County, we want to increase scholarships for all our kids. I don't care what race you are. We want to increase scholarships for our kids to be able to go to college or go to certification programs, and that we can report back and say, we've done that. So that's one of the initiatives that I really want us to push. Also, see, what else did I do? Oh, had a very good meeting with CDF. As indicated, the mayor talked about the city's initiatives with affordable housing, and I think that's fantastic. We have put a large amount of money into that this board has set aside for affordable housing. And I can't wait till we are able to announce it and get it moving. I know we're in the fourth quarter, but I had a good meeting with CDF and the administration. And the thing I wanted to stress to them is we have diversified our money. So we've got monies that's going to go into a pot similar to Cincinnati, but it's like $17.5+ million that will kind of be able to be gap financing, help with other projects. That's great. But we also put money for projects that we will lead, a project that I think should be world-class, that Washington can come to Hamilton and County and see what did we do. The LAD people had come up and talked about innovative for people who have disabilities. Now they do 1 or 2 housing, but I'm talking about a small village or something that we can have everything from the solar to the a smart house to energy efficiency to something that USDA could come in on as well as help with, that can be a model not only for our county, but for the country. So that was what I kind of met with them about. And I'm looking forward to us to get moving and grooving because we have always been in the affordable housing business. Now we just put more money through CDBG, Jollers, and others. So we will be able to hopefully unveil that in the first quarter, hopefully, of next year. Madam President, I know each of you probably have already met with them or will be meeting with them soon. Also had a meeting with the Gensler people regarding the stadium, and they're working on some plans and everything. We didn't discuss numbers. You know, for me, everything is going to be on numbers, but just on surface, they're looking at some designs and meeting with people, and they're going to meet with each of us. But one of the things I said that's missing, even if we just do a rehab of the stadium, it's missing a wow factor. It's got to have some kind of something look different on the outside. It also has to have, I've asked them to get a list to us of all the stadiums, what they have. And then on our side, what are they proposing? So we could kind of see how we kind of match up. I also have recommended, I'd like to see us go on a trip to visit these other stadiums, pick out some stadiums. We go look at it. First, we got to look at our own stadium because even though I've been there for games and those kind of things, we're cheering on the team, but I need a business meeting where I can walk through everything. And if you say this is no good, I need to see it's no good. If you say it is good, I need to know it is good. But to have those type of the decisions that we're going to have to be making, to be able to go in, have those types of tours with our own facility, tour some other facilities, meet with some other folks, how are they financing what they have? And then I am very interested in a meeting with the NFL. I don't think they have been, I don't think they put enough skin in the game. I think they come out with all these new mandatory things. We want to have this, we want to have that, but no money. And then they show up and say they're in charge. They're very tough to small market areas, but I think we have to have a meeting with the NFL to tell them they got to put some skin. And when I say skin, I mean some money toward these efforts. It can't just be on the backs of the taxpayers only. So I did do that. I also met with Mr. Ludo and reiterated my concern, and I've not really heard back. We have Taylor Swift coming to one of our stadiums that we own, and we have Pink coming to another stadium that we own. Those are fantastic. But I need more Taylor Swifts and more Pinks coming in. And I think that our contract says we're supposed to have somebody that both of us agree to that would be charged, their only job is to bring more concerts and more events and more revenue to our taxpayer-funded stadiums. I have not heard back, and if we already have someone, I don't know how we have someone and we don't know anything about them. So I would like to see that, because I think it would be great to present to us, Madam President, and Commissioner Dreehouse, what is the plan to try to bring? I think that's part of the funding model as we go forward. So I am waiting on that and hope to get it very soon. I'm glad you mentioned Forest Park, because I got a call from someone saying that some folks in Forest Park, or one individual had said the former mayor had indicated we're not doing enough in Forest Park. I would just ask the administrator at some point, maybe one of our sessions we have, if we could do what are we doing? Because we are doing a lot of things for Forest Park and some things coming up. Not to say we can't do more, but I know that that's near and dear to you as well. And I know we have some things that we have done, and just be good to get an update on what's happening in Forest Park. I have some other comments, but I'll leave that for when we get to buy leave number 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dreehouse.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll try to be quick. So I too attended some Veteran Day event, and the one out in Reverend Lynch's church is a favorite of mine. It's African-American seniors, many in attendance. I knew this was the second year, but it's really well done. And you get the chance to sit down and talk to the seniors and the veterans, and it's really a great event. I left there early to go out to Blue Ash. They had their annual event. They had a lot of students participating, which was always fun. And so congratulations to them for another successful Veterans Day event. I also attended the State of the City with Mayor Pureval. A lot of content in the speech he gave. It's really impressive. And clearly the city is heading in the right direction. I'm glad that he mentioned some of the partnerships between the city and the county. That the West End open house today at the Finley Street building. Nick Johnson, the managing partner of BOC, was present for that, as were members of the Port Authority and others that were partnering in that renovation. It really was fantastic. I mean, that building was built in the 1800s, and Nick lived next door to this building. And it was really an exciting moment for him, and I think for the community, and really for us, being a partner in the investment of the revitalization of some of the buildings in the West End. So I was happy to attend that. 2 other things on a really positive note. I don't know if you're aware that Seton High School won state for their soccer team, and Ursuline won state for their volleyball team. And so I've reached out to both schools, because we like to recognize these really fun and joyous occasions for the schools in our county. And so I reached out to both to see if they would like a proclamation, maybe come in and recognize the students. But I didn't want to, I have a meeting go without saying that we're really proud of those athletes, and congratulations to both of those teams. And then lastly, there is something going on this afternoon related to Nehemiah Manufacturing. This is a group in Lower Price Hill. They employ returning citizens, and they employ a lot of returning citizens. I think they're up to 100, and they are expanding their operation. They've got a fulfillment center down there, and there is a open house. I believe it's an open house this afternoon. So thank you all for agreeing to sign on to the proclamation, recognizing their work and celebrating the expansion that they've got going on in Lower Price Hill to help folks that are returning to the community succeed. And they are the ultimate. When we just signed the recovery friendly workplace resolution for the county to provide supports for people that are in recovery that want to have employment here, and we need to respond to some of the needs that they have. Nehemiah is really the golden standard when it comes to doing that work. They've got somebody on site providing those supports, and I do want to call them out. They've done tremendous work, and it's really exciting to see them expand. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I just wanted to make a comment as you were talking, both of us were talking about the veterans celebration, and keep your ear to the ground because you guys might have left, I don't know, but Lincoln Ware is going to be working on African-American veterans going to Washington for the plane ride that usually happens for veterans. The last plane ride was October the 29th, but he has found that there are not a lot of African-American veterans that have been involved in that plane ride. So he personally said he's going to start working on that effort. So, okay. Okay, our county administrator, Jeff Aludo.
Thank you, Madam President. We have a lot of by leaves today. So I don't really have any comments other than just to once again congratulate all the MVP award winners and just on a great job, and just to thank all the county staff for everything that they've done, especially as we start to approach the Thanksgiving holiday here. But I do have multiple by leaves, and Madam President, I'm not sure how you want to handle this, but I think a couple of them are by leaves that the administration has spurred. There's a few that are board and commission related, so I didn't know if you wanted to handle those. I think 1, 9, and 10 are more of the administration ones, so I'm happy to hit 1 and defer to you, or I could walk through all of them. I'll defer to your
1, 9, and 10.
I'll hit 1, 9, and 10. Okay. So the first item is by leave item number 1 in your packet. This is budget adjustment 34. This relates to the appropriation of 1.7 million in the general fund related to end of the year expense needs in the juvenile court. 1.3 million of this is associated with staffing and employment costs associated with compensation. An additional 400,000 relates to non-personnel services, interpreter translation services within the court, emergency purchase of radios, cameras at the youth center, increased cost of postage, and pre-employment polygraph testing. In the past, we used to do all of these fixes at one time in one huge resolution. We got away from doing that. So these come forward individually so the board can see them in a little bit more detail. So the administration recommends approval. Happy to answer any questions. Assistant Administrator Bergen is here also if there are any detailed questions on the finances.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about by leave 1? Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to adopt by leave 1.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you.
Would you like me to go to number 9 or okay? By leave number 9, commissioners, is a budget adjustment number 36. This relates to the appropriation of $12,260,073.86 for ERAP Emergency Rental Assistance 2 grants. So these are dollars that, as the board knows, we have received 2 tranches of emergency rental assistance funding, emergency rental assistance 1 funding, of which we still have some left. We're getting ready to reopen those operations here shortly, where that money has to be spent by the end of 2022. We also have emergency rental assistance 2 funding, which has a deadline, I believe, of September 30th, 2025. This is a reallocation of ERAP 2 money to give the county an additional 12.2 million. The administration recommends approval so that we can begin deploying these funds.
Thank you. Can we say a little bit more about that? I remember Vice President Reese was saying, can we ask for some more money? And you're still, yeah.
Sure. Well, we actually do have still a pending request for 36 million out there. So this is the county's ability to deploy this money, to get it out the door, to get it deployed quickly and efficiently is a major item in our favor in terms of being a community where the federal government agrees to reallocate dollars specifically to those communities that are doing well. We have done well. So that has put us in a good place in line for receiving reallocated dollars. Part of the reason that we've received the 12.2 and part of the reason that we feel we have a really good shot at getting all or most of that 36 million of reallocation, which would also have a a 2025 line on it again so that we could start spending against that over the period of the next couple of years.
Thank you. And Hamilton County definitely is a model for the whole state, as we had said earlier. And so this board is truly committed to emergency rental assistance, among other things. And so to be able to get that additional money and help those that are out there hopefully before evictions, we are really committed to make sure that that happens. I'm looking at our director back there. I don't know if you have any more that you'd like to say, or would you like to just make a comment? This is a big deal. And so we need to make sure we don't just, slide over it. So.
No, thank you for the attention and the obviously approval of accepting the additional $12 million. The team is still here, so they just were awarded for the good work that they've done already. And I have no question that we will continue to do that for the community in the most efficient way possible. So we are prepared to open back up. And we're going to be ready to do that on Monday. Our online portal is going to be opening back up and ready to accept those online applications as we go forward for folks in the community who still need that kind of rental and utility assistance support from us.
Great, thank you. Vice President Reese, did you have a comment?
Yeah, no, I've got a question. You gave, Mr. Ludo gave out a lot of dates for people who are watching and for myself. This 12 million when does this 12 million expire?
This is ERAP 2 money, so this would
Okay.
have the longer time frame of 2025.
Oh,
associated
okay, so this
with it.
12 million, we have to 2025.
Right.
Although it won't take 2025. Okay, because I thought you were saying it was another one that had to be done by the end of the
Yeah,
year.
so there is also ERAP $1 that has until the end of the year to spend, and we still do have money left in that.
Correct.
Which we've been on pause for a little bit of time as we've worked our way through backlogs. I know we're getting ready to open up again to start getting that money out deployed as well, so we can get that expended by the end of the year. So
That's correct. And that funding from ERA 1 needs to be obligated by the end of the year. So as long as we have applications there that we get in for the same program, we will approve those applications. Obviously, if they're eligible for that, they need to be obligated by the end of the year. And so as we start to get applications starting on Monday, that funding will be applied to those few applications that come in before the end of the year to exhaust as much of the ERA 1 we can before the end of 2022.
How much money is that?
That is about $6 million, a little over 6 million.
Okay, so let me say this. I don't want one dime going back to Washington, so we need to please get these applications moving. Let me just say that congratulations on it. Thanks for going back, being aggressive. This board has said we want every dime, because the reality is, while the news is not focused on COVID like it was before, people are still hurting and people are still struggling. And there are jobs, but then there's a lot of people who are downsizing. I know several people who were working, it took them 3 interviews to get the job, and 6 months later, the job is gone. And now they got to get back going again, and we're getting ready to go into the holidays. So this is critical. The need is still there. People still need help. And so we're able to help them. Jobs and Family Services, the safety net of the county. You've got the excellent, I call them the strike team. I say, bring in the A team. The A team comes in, but we want to make sure that we get the word out, because we've had different press releases. One press release, we're stopping, and then now we're back. So we need to have a plan. And I'd like, could email to us, what's that plan to get this word out? I know we got a press release, press conference, but if you're not looking maybe at the news or you miss it, how are you getting this information out? And let's make sure that the ERAP dollars that you have, the 6 million, is all gone. And then the 12 million, obviously, we've got a need. I think we probably got a $50 million need, more than likely, for people who are still out there just trying to bounce back. So thank you for doing it, getting this back. This is great news. But the message to people that are watching, the effects of COVID have not left people. They might have gotten the shot in the arm to stay alive, but economically, they're trying to make it, especially now with, the meat and the bread is high. People can't afford a turkey. I mean, it's just a lot of different, can't go to the gas station, everything's going up except people's checks. So this is very, very important work. So thank you all very much. This is great news. And anything we can do to help get the word out, we will help get the word out. on
Thank you,
that.
Commissioner.
And Mr. Ludo, I'm sorry, you're busy. I'm sorry. Also, when is the bus coming? Because we gonna need that bus to get this money out. Is it on its way?
You said before it was driving on its way, so I assumed.
That's what I heard, but I don't know if it's on a detour or what. Is it?
No, we had heard that it was coming shortly after Thanksgiving, so still think we're on that time frame. But I'll follow up to see if we can get a more specific delivery date.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Did we do that particular item?
Can I?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I was just leaning in. So I too want to comment to this. I want to step back and recognize that these are federal dollars that are coming to us. And I think sometimes we forget that we have the ability to help so many people because the federal government has allowed us that help through these monies that are coming our way for distribution. So, the administration has really done a good job of responding to what we have said our needs are here. I think the most popular program, for lack of a better term, that we have rolled out is the rental assistance program. I mean, the volume of people that we have helped is remarkable. And so I'm grateful that the federal government continues to recognize that need and push these dollars down where they matter. So $12 million from my calculus is about 3,000 to 3,500 households potentially being helped through this funding, which is fantastic. In addition to the 6 million that we're going to try to push up by the end of the year. So we've got a lot of potential here. And I do hope that people contact JFS. And I'm going to ask you to remind people as to how they contact JFS. What is the website? And I know the 211 will also be available
That's
for
correct.
folks that aren't computer savvy or don't have access to a computer. They can just call 211 and get some access to this relief. But what's the website for JFS?
513relief.org is our primary website, so folks can certainly contact us through that website to submit the application, create the application. Also 946-1000. Option 1 is going to be up and running by Monday. So we'll have an opportunity for people who call who have a submitted application, who have questions about the status of the application to call, get a status update as well. So 513relief.org is our primary contact. We want to promote that.
Well, that's
Encourage
good
people to go there to
marketing.
apply.
It's always been 5 and 211. Those are
211, absolutely, for help with applying. So
Right.
we know there's a certain segment of population who needs some help with the mobile application. They need help walking through that application. And so they've been great partners with us over the last couple of years. United Way has been really helpful with folks having them walk through that process.
Great. Thank
Yeah,
you so
no
much.
problem.
Thanks for
Thank you.
your work and the work of the team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I will make a motion to approve item 9.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. You'd asked that I also take by leave item number 8. So by leave item number 8 in your packet is a resolution amending the County Convention Facilities Authority. Broadly speaking, this is a resolution to amend the procedure by which, or the way in which board members to the CFA are appointed to align it more directly with the Ohio Revised Code. The Board of County Commissioners technically appoints 6 members to the Convention Facilities Authority. This would specify that the board does in fact appoint 6 directors. One of those represents the townships of Hamilton County. The Township Trustee Association may provide a list of potential appointees. One director represents the city of Sharonville. One director representing the Convention and Visitor Bureau of Greater Cincinnati. One director representing a major business trade association located in the county. One director representing the Hotel Association, and the remaining position will be appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. As always, and as included under the Ohio Revised Code as it relates to the CFA, not more than 3 of the persons appointed shall be of the same political party. That language stays the same. So, Madam President, this was forwarded at the request of the board, so I submit it for your consideration.
Thank you so much. Any discussion on item 8?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam President. My office worked on this resolution along with the chief of staffs of your office as well. One of the things I saw when we as city and the county, I was at the city when we put together the Convention Facility Authority. And for those who are watching, they are over the transient occupancy tax known as the hotel motel tax. And the dollars go to the Convention Facility Authority. And it's very important because we're talking about convention district. And I hear people say, man, you're so technical, but you got to be technical. And one of the things I felt it had, because I was at the city at the time, it did give us a little more flexibility, and that was okay because I was over at the city. But over at the county, it didn't allow us some of the flexibility because the positions are already told who has to have them. It has to mirror the Ohio Revised Code, but this model does allow us to make sure the right stakeholders, those who are in the motel and the convention business, are on there. But it does open up a seat to allow us a little flexibility. So this is more in line with the Ohio Revised Code, but at the same time opens up an opportunity for this board to have at least one seat with a little flexibility. And so I want to thank both of your offices for working with my chief of staff, Quentin Monroe, worked very hard on this. And so I think this is just the right update that we need. So I would like to have support for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dreehouse.
No, I'm happy to support the resolution.
Okay. All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve by leave 8.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. The final by leave that I have is by leave 10. This is a resolution authorizing the administrator to enter into a fourth amendment of the agreement between the Board of County Commissioners and the Port of Greater Cincinnati Development Authority. This aligns with our discussion on Tuesday, relates to the acquisition of the Millennium Hotel and the fee that is owed to the broker on that project by the Port Authority, which advanced the project at the request of the county. Just to briefly summarize, the courts had recently determined that the broker in this particular case is owed the full amount of the bifurcated brokerage fee that was in the agreement, which entails an additional $5 million. The plus some interest of 150 some odd thousand. The resolution in front of you allows us to make that payment to the port so that they can make that brokerage payment, that those dollars will ultimately be reimbursed by the transient occupancy tax. The administration recommends approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a comment as it relates to that. And I don't want to be repetitive because I talked about it on Tuesday, but we did ask the Port Authority to represent the county in this disposition. They represented us, but unfortunately, we were not successful in the court case. So I just liken it almost to when you have a lawyer and they're working for you and they lose the case, you still have to pay the lawyer. So, we just need to do it, in my opinion, to pay the amount that's necessary and to move forward to where we're going in the development of the Cincinnati downtown district. So I will, Vice President Reese, do you have any comments?
I have a question before I go into my comment. The resolution is an amendment, you said a fourth amendment, to an existing contract is this the contract that they do industrial work outside of the Millennium?
Yes, Madam President, Madam Vice President. Yeah, this is an amendment to the broader agreement that we have with the Port Authority, correct?
I want to start off by saying, Madam President, you had mentioned that we did have extensive discussion on Tuesday. Some people watch Tuesday, but some people wait on Thursday for the main event. So I wanted to highlight and make sure that my comments and what I'm saying is not misconstrued. I know when you get into the media, having a degree in communications and concentration in public relations and journalism, they only have so much space. So they've got to do just a sound bite or just a little sentence because they're not able to write the whole context. when we're dealing with the convention center, convention district, convention hotel, and you look at where I'm coming from, I look at these items from the lens of someone who has been the deputy director of tourism for the entire state of Ohio. I look at it from the lens of someone who served on city council in tough times when we had unrest, boycotts, and the lowest occupancy of hotels in the history of Hamilton County. And when no one wanted to come here, and when our Convention and Visitors Bureau person at the time quit and said, I just can't sell this place. And me stepping in, not as the bureau chief, but as someone who wanted to save Cincinnati at that time, and someone who used my own talents, not paid for these things, but wanting to save the city, and went out and traveled and brought in conventions and put together convention packets, and doors were shut in my face. People were cursing me out all over the country, saying, no way am I coming to that city. But over time, I was able to put together a campaign called Cincinnati on the Move. And we were able to bring people together, and we were able to land our first major convention, which was the National Baptist Convention. And I flew to Philadelphia and literally begged them to please come. And then brought others. Once they came, that was the top African-American convention in the country. Once they came, I was able to then go get the Shriners Convention, second largest African-American convention in the country, to come. And then we went on with the NAACP, and then I hosted the meeting planners here in Cincinnati for the first time to come see what we've done. We're working together and we're turning a corner. And we had it at the Freedom Center, where over 700 people came that were meeting planners, and then came the NAACP and Noble and all of these conventions. And then they came back multiple times. So I'm coming from that perspective, and then coming from a perspective of someone who helped to have to vote, should we have a 3CDC? It was never a 3CDC. It was a new concept. And I remember Mr. Leeper flying in from the home of the Steelers and saying, we can do this in Over the Rhine, and voting to form 3CDC to only focus on Over the Rhine, not south of Over the Rhine. So when I come in and I hear the tone that tries to change, that when I ask questions, somehow you're not for progress. I hear that that is definitely the wrong tone. I would challenge anyone who have taken a political bullet when people that look like me said, don't come here. And I said, no, we must save this town. We must save this county. I would challenge anyone who would say that they know more than me about expanding a convention center when I was there and expanded this convention center. I would challenge anyone who would challenge me about what it takes to bring conventions when I brought conventions and a lot of money. I would, and in very tough times. I would challenge anyone that would challenge me to say you're not for progress when you wouldn't have half the progress you have if I didn't have to take very tough votes. But where I'm coming from, so we can be very clear, I am not anti-business, I'm pro-small business. I'm pro-women-owned business. I'm pro-African-American and minority business. I'm pro-family business. I'm for the mom and the pops out here that's trying to make it. And so when I came here and the questions that I asked, it comes from expertise. Expertise that's seen the numbers, not just looking at the numbers, but help bring the numbers. I'm here from expertise, not just talking about the Convention Facilities Authority. I helped create it. So I'm understanding the business model. So when I come with these questions, I come from a level of expertise, understanding, and experience with results. And I believe that the people that voted for me to be here expect me if no one else, to understand and know about these particularities as we're moving into something that will change the trajectory of this city and this county for the next 20 to 30 years. Now, what does that mean? Now, we've given our stuff over to 3CDC. They have admitted that they have never done a convention district ever. So should they be questioned? Yes. No one is above questioning. When you bring something and you put it in a newspaper and we ain't seen it, Commissioner Dumas, president, had talked about that on another issue. That's not respectful. We deserve respect. I want to say that the reason that I have issues with this particular issue, and now we're just dealing with the Millennium Hotel, which I was not an elected official of the Hamilton County or anywhere else at that particular time, or at least Hamilton County. I may have been somewhere else. With that being said, if I was here, maybe it would have been a different deal. Maybe I could have asked those questions where I have expertise in. Maybe I could have said, why don't look this way or look that way because I have experience in it. I was not here to do that. But I question today, this has gone to court. The courts have had who's right and who's wrong. You know, one group say they right, another one say they right. The courts have determined who's right. The court also determined that Hamilton County is not on the hook. The Hamilton County taxpayers, there was no judgment against the Hamilton County taxpayers. The judge did not say that there's a judgment that Hamilton County must pay. The court did not say that Hamilton County must pay this money. The court did not determine in the contract that some contract said that Hamilton County has to pay this money. The court did not determine that Hamilton County must pay the legal fees of the Port Authority. Now, I wasn't here. I don't know who said what, and John said this, and Tommy said that, and somebody else said something. But today I'm asked to make a vote. And what I'm seeing, Mr. Administrator, is that no other business would ever get this type of treatment. We wouldn't do it for a small business that's struggling out here. They go to court every day on stuff. We ain't paying their bills. We wouldn't do it for a small woman-owned business. They go to court. That's what business is. I grew up in business. There's court stuff all the time. We wouldn't pay it for them. We even put in other contracts, which I don't know why it's not in this one. We indemnify the county, the government, if you get sued. Now we're back with this same contract. Now, the reason I want to say about this same contract, some people are going to say, well, this just the Millennium, and let's, keep moving. No, this contract doesn't say Millennium. This is the contract that we have with the Port Authority that we pay them $800,000 every year. We pay them $2 million to buy other property, and all we're doing is amending this contract. And even when I ask, can you please, in the future, change the contract and put indemnification, which means that the taxpayers are not on the hook if they get sued, they don't want to put it in here. But any other business that does business with this county, you have a clause in there that says that the county is not on the hook if you get sued. We just did a contract with the Black Music Walk of Fame, a company, they got it in there. If that company gets sued, the taxpayers are not on the hook. Now, I'm concerned that this is not just about this. This ain't $5 million. This is almost, I don't know, maybe $7 million when we get done with it. It ain't about just this. If they go out and do another deal, because they represent us, we got to pay their court fees. We got to pay their legal fees. We got to pay millions of dollars. We are providing nothing to protect the taxpayers of Hamilton County. If you are we do business all the time with nonprofits, all the time. But if they get in trouble, they got to pay their own money. You might be watching, you have a nonprofit. You get sued, you got to pay your own legal fees. You do business with us, we gonna have that clause to say that we are held harmless, the taxpayers, if you get sued. So what makes it different when we come with the Port Authority, who is a nonprofit that does not pay taxes at all? And now we're on the hook. So then I said, well, wait a minute, if we pay this, can you put it like you do at a bank? A bank give you a loan, they're on your deed. So if something happens, they get some money. If you sell it and you haven't paid them off, they get their money. I was told we can't do that because we want to protect the taxpayers. So I'm confused about how is it an unelected nonprofit that doesn't pay taxes could come in, say they represent us on other stuff too. So every time they get sued, we got to pay their legal fees, which we did. I voted against it. $800,000 in legal fees. Taxpayers. Number two, if they lose in court, we now, and the court didn't even say we're liable. We got to now pay the taxpayers, and we're taking it out of the general fund first, and we hope to pay it back. We got to pay that. Then when I asked over at the Millennium, do we own the land? The administrator tells me we don't even own it. And then when I said, well, can we help decide what go on it? No. So I'm more interested in the process, that this can never happen again. The bottom line is the Port Authority dropped the ball. We wasn't in there. We can't say what they said because none of us was in there. Administrator said he wasn't in there. Commissioners, they weren't in there. So they dropped the ball and we pick up the tab. So that's where I'm coming from. But to try to put something out that Commissioner Reese don't know business, that's laughable. To put something out, Commissioner Reese don't know economic development, please. Half the stuff we walking around, I done voted for and help get going in tough times. To walk around and say, she doesn't know anything about booking and we got to book hotels, please. My record speaks for itself. Hotel, I done booked more nights than anybody who ain't working there. And some people that are working there, I done booked more room nights. So I understand this. It's very technical. It all works together. They say, oh, pay this and it'll be over. It ain't over. Who authorized tearing it down? President Dumas raised a great question. Who authorized? I wasn't here, but who authorized tearing it down, which put us in this situation? And then when you tear it down, I understand that it's some more remediation that's got to go, because when you tore it down, you didn't tear it down properly. So we can't put too much over there. So I wanted to make sure that my comments are clear. I've always been for progress. It's about how do you do it? We've got progress where we move out people from neighborhoods and we jump up and say we made progress. Is that progress when another group of people had to be thrown out? I'm interested in the right type of progress. So that's why I'm asking the questions that I ask. With that being said, I wanted to just be clear. When they say she for business, I'm for business. So everybody says she for business. Who is she? She's for small businesses, women-owned businesses, African-American minority businesses, family-owned businesses, mom and pop businesses. I'm looking for one set of rules. If they got to pay for lawyers, if they got to pay when they go to court, if they got to pay for the land, why do we have a not-for-profit who pays zero taxes come in, get a contract that doesn't protect the taxpayers, and then we're telling them after we pay this, you will still represent us. We won't own the land. We have no rights to any land that you ever get. And then, by the way, if you drop the ball again, we'll pay your legal fees. We'll pay millions of dollars, even though the court of law says that we are not liable. And this is why I had an issue, because this is not a millennium resolution. This is a resolution to their amendment to their contract that they already have, to continue to do that work with no additional protections. If we had additional protections, maybe I would say I'll go with this one time. But because this can happen again, and this is set a precedence of behavior, I cannot go with it at this time. Lastly, I want you to put up on this board 3CDC, and this is the future. You say, what about the future? I wanted y'all, everybody to see what I have concerns with. This was presented to us. On there, you see the Millennium site. Out of the convention district, the only thing we own is over here on the right-hand side that's circled. Now, Madam President brought to our attention, it's more than 39 million. I gave a small thing. 39 million, it's tied to the transient occupancy tax, the hotel motel tax portion that the county oversees. 39 million to buy it. It was more to tear it down. I think it's about 54 million, as Madam President pointed out, that is a debt that has to be paid back. In the end, the county does not own the property. It's owned by the Port Authority, who transferred it to the land bank that, by the way, they're over the land bank. Okay, so they own it. Then you go here at the bottom, they put a picture. They didn't even ask us, what would you like to see there? You see that? Picnic tables and umbrellas. We don't make no money off of it. So it's an open space, no money, we can't make our money back. Tables, umbrellas, music, and so forth. 3CDC, what they do really well at, they go out and get sponsors so we can have free entertainment, but the county gets $0 back, no money maker coming back to us. Then at the top, it's already got a name, Elm Street Park. I didn't vote on it being no park. The people thought we were going to get a hotel to make money. So that's why I have and they already talking about closing the street. They said that's already a done deal. So this is why I have the questions that I have for the future. And I hope that we'll be able to have some input so that we don't get something that says take it or leave it. So with that, Madam President, I'll turn it back over, but those were the issues. And I just wanted, and I'm not, anybody else can have their own opinion. Commissioner Driehaus was here and was in more discussions than I had. I wasn't here. I wasn't able to get into it. But from what I'm seeing from the outside, this is the situation and why I cannot vote for this pattern that puts the county taxpayers at risk for even future deals. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Driehaus.
Thank you. So thank you for bringing this forward to us. I know it's a timely matter and we've got to take care of it. As we discussed on Tuesday, I take the long view on this payment and on everything that we've done related to the Millennium, to the Convention Center District, that we are all in agreement on, we're all working on together with the city. But the long view is that we were presented with a situation, and I was fairly new to the commission at the time, but we had a languishing convention center district. It had been languishing for decades. And we had done studies, the CVB had done studies in conjunction with the business community to better understand why we were so far behind our competitive set. And it became very clear that the Millennium Hotel was at the center of that. And it stood in the way of us having a five-flag headquarter hotel, because it should have been the headquarter hotel, but didn't function in that way because it was not a hotel that people wanted to stay in. And so we were not getting conventions for that reason. And it also stood in the way of any kind of expansion of the exhibit space, which was a primary concern of the study and of folks that bring conventions into cities. And they said our exhibit space is much smaller than our competitive set. So we had these two things on the table that we knew were hindering us from moving forward in the Convention Center District. And so without control of the Millennium, we had no hope of improving our situation and bringing that economic activity and the jobs into our county. And so we aggressively went after the Millennium Hotel. It happened for years before I got here. It was happening when I did get here. I know Commissioner Portun was involved in some of that. And finally, we had an opportunity to get control of the hotel. And nobody's going to debate it. There was an investment made by the county. And to me, you know, the city and the county both identified this with the business community and the CVB as the primary thing we needed to do, one of our top priorities. And the county stepped up. We invested our TOT dollars. The TOT dollars are meant to support convention center, the industry. And that's the reason for the waterfall. And that's the reason those funds exist. And so we invested our TOT dollars to get control of the Millennium site. And that's what we did. We partnered with the Port Authority because they have expertise when it comes to gaining land, to holding land. And so they became our partner in this with the city of Cincinnati and others. And so we entered into an agreement with them to make sure that the deal got done. And during that time, there were some investments that were made, obviously just for the hotel itself, for the acquisition, for the demolition. And we had an agreement with the broker. There was what was called a finder's fee at the time. We paid for that. And all of us thought that that was due and that was fine. That was the price of doing business. But there was this other caveat out there. It's this 5 million that said if the land, or if it were to be developed, if anything were to be developed on this land, then we would have to pay that 5 million. We have not developed anything on that land. We have done demolition on that land. And so we felt fairly confident, as did our legal team, that we were in good stead there. Well, we got sued by the broker and it went to court, and the judge determined that demolition equals development. That is a decision I will continue to disagree with. I think many of us continue to disagree with, but as has been said, there's nothing we can do about that. Someone else made that decision. And so the 5 million then came back into play. So the port, it is correct to say the port is the one that was sued, but they acted as our agent. They acted as our partner. And so the 5 million is again forwarded through the general fund, expectation being paid back through the TOT, which is the appropriate funding source, so that we can put this to bed, get it behind us, and continue to move forward, because that's what we need to do. And all three of us signed a resolution with the entire city of Cincinnati Council to say that we want 3CDC to act again as our partner and move this project forward, look at this as a campus, which includes the Millennium site, the convention center, the parking lot across the street, the parking garage across the street, Convention Place, and look at it as a campus, as a district, so that we are not piecemealing what does the city own, what does the county own, what does the port own. We're not doing that. We're working in collaboration with the city and our other partners to present a plan that moves this district forward. And we've got it in phases because we can't afford it all at once. And the first phase includes the renovation of the convention center. It does not yet include the expansion of the exhibit space, but I know it is anticipated at some point in time. That's something that we're looking towards. We know we need to do that in order to compete with the and be part of the competitive set. And so that is what's in front of us today. This is a piece of this overall plan. It's one of the, I hope it's the final piece. And so I'm willing to support it. I think we need to do this. We understood the investment when we made it. And so this is the last piece of paying down that investment and moving the rest of the project forward with the city and 3CDC and our other partners.
Thank you.
Can I make a correction? Just want to say that all three of us did not sign. I did not sign on, was not comfortable at the time. I thought it was rushed. Still waiting on more information, but I did not sign on to 3CDC. I did say I'll wait to see what they.
I apologize. If I
Okay, no,
missed it.
yeah, no.
Did you vote? You voted on?
I did not vote for.
All right. Did you?
I abstained and
You
wanted
abstained.
more information
Okay.
and still waiting.
I apologize. I misunderstood.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that it did, it didn't just go to one court. It was appealed and two courts upheld it. My last thing is the PAC when it say that this is over. My understanding is not over. There are other things out there. Is this over, Mr. Aludo? Will we never see this again? No requests from the Port Authority in the future regarding any expense dealing with demolition or dealing with the court or dealing with this situation? Is this it?
This represents the judgment and the interest on the judgment. That's all I can speak to at this time. So I'm not going to sit here and say definitively one way or the other, whether there's anything related to the millennium that will come up later or not. But this is the cost of the judgment related to that fee and the interest on it. So this is that judgment.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's important. This is not it. There's some other things that's my concern. But anyway, just wanted to make sure about the signing. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Dreehouse, for acknowledging that.
I thought you had voted
I
for it. Sorry.
appreciate that. And then also that it wasn't at one court, but two courts. And both courts determined that Hamilton County, I'd asked the administrator, did they ask Hamilton County to testify? They said no. They asked Hamilton County, was anything written saying Hamilton County was a part of this? The answer was no. I was asked that because a lot of people love to sue us. Was Hamilton County even in the suit? They said no. So I just wanted to say that two courts, not one, but two, upheld this particular decision. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adopt by leave 10.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
No.
Thank you. Okay, gonna move forward to consent agenda items. And I know we have an executive session coming forward, so I will not be specific.
Madam President, I'm sorry, we did not do
Oh, we
the
didn't do the rest of
the middle by leaves. We skipped
I
down to
said I
8,
would
9, and
do-
10.
Yeah. Sorry, thank you so much. Okay, let's do this thing then. Thank you, Michael. Okay, by leave 2. Resolution appointing a member to the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authority Board, Bernadette Watson. Is there any discussion or comments?
Don't want to be labor. I know we're running behind, but Bernadette Watson, I think will be excellent. She served as former chief of staff in the mayor's office at City Hall and has a lot of experience. Has been a community council president and housing advocate for many years. So glad to see that she's being nominated.
Thank you. Any additional?
Well, I'm going to cover all of the by leave because we have a lot of people that have stepped up to lend their services to the county. They're all volunteering. They all come with many, many qualifications regarding whatever board that we're appointing them to. And I'm very, very grateful that they're willing to serve in this way.
Mhm. Thank you. And we need more of you. I know the Board of Revision, we have a vacancy due to a passing of a very a member who had been working for many years with Board of Revision, but not only that one, but there are other ones that we have vacancies. So if you want to be involved and have a say, just look on our website. You could see the vacancies. So I make a motion to approve by leave 2.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you. By leave 3, resolution appointing 2 members to the Elderly Services Program Advisory Council, Janice Hunter and Randy Berlew. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to adopt by leave 3.
Second.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you. By leave 4, resolution appointing a member to the Economic Inclusion, actually it's 2 members, Economic Inclusion Advisory Council, Brian Wright and Ibu Varum. I'd like to make a motion to adopt that resolution.
Second.
Commissioner Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you. By leave 5, resolution appointing members to the Integrating Committee, District 2, Paula Lampley and Mary Welsh as the alternative. Any comments? I didn't ask for comments the last time. Hearing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve by leave 5.
Second.
Commissioner Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you. By leave 6, resolution appointing a member to the River City Facilities Governing Board, Lisa Mertz. I'd like to make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Commissioner Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you. By leave 7, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution appointing members to the Hamilton County Rural Zoning Commission, Mark Schlafman, Brian M. Linneman, and Craig J. James as alternate.
Second.
Commissioner Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you. So we'll go to consent agenda items. And I have in front of me items 3 through 7. And then items 9 through 16 for consent. We already handled 8. Is there any discussion on any of the consent agenda items? Vice President Reese, Commissioner Dreehouse. So I'd like to make a motion to adopt items 3 through 7 and 9 through 16.
Second.
Commissioner Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you. So you have in front of you, we have executive session. Like to make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to RC section 121.22 G3 to conduct a conference with an attorney for the public body concerning MSD.
Second.
Commissioner Dumas.
Yes.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Thank you.